Like our tans, we're going tan today.
Damn. Must be special today then.
Not really. We're just mixing things up.
Tucker 103 is 1097 to MRP.
Have you guys taken a picture yet?
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Of course.
That's
First thing we did. What do you think?
Indeed.
I took a photo of us, Kelly. I don't know if you noticed when we were pulling that one dude over because we were looking fresh as fuck.
Now, no offense, but the hats,
The hats are sick. Stop. I love the hat.
I don't know. It's just the yeah, I don't know. I don't dig those hats.
I always carry around because I use in fights, you know. I have to repair my car every 10 seconds.
You could never handle this hat, dude. It's just too powerful.
126.
Maybe.
Oh, what up, Atlas?
Three
Kelly,
individuals
let's go.
inside, one armed with a pistol, one homeless, generic-looking, number 2 male with a purple hoodie,
Kelly, and I need
checkered,
to talk with you.
and there's gonna be an individual.
What have I done now?
Like cowering on the floor. He's gonna be dragging him around. So number 2 male wearing all black.
What have I done now?
2 suspects armed with pistol.
My God, that man on the ground's crying like a baby.
There's gonna be a white in color sports car, 2-door outside.
Station?
No, I have not.
I cannot
Let's
find
go,
that
Kelly.
man.
This way.
What have I done now?
About to find out.
But he's threatening to shoot the hostage.
Make sure we're using our indoor voices. 5-5 needs to go 10-6 off comms.
2-1, same traffic.
Tucker 103, same traffic.
Alright.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to try doing
let's
the
go over
jewelry
here.
store, but the shit was already not working,
very
so
loud.
that's why I didn't put it on myself earlier.
There we go. That should be good.
What's up?
It's come to my attention, sir, that you were kidnapped the other day.
I was kidnapped today, yes.
Okay, you able to tell me about that?
Yes, I can. It's a bit difficult. I'll do my best. So,
do you have footage where you run a body cam?
I was not running body cams at that time. No, I apologize. But I can give call signs. Echo 1 was on, who also handled the negotiation for my release. Ida 51. Who else was on duty at the time? There was at least one other SASP, and corrections was also on at that time. So that would have been Sunshine Violet and one other correctional. The name escapes me. Occurred in real time just over 5 hours ago.
Okay. So tell me about it. Who kidnapped
I was
you?
sorry. I'll go from the start and give you context of the situation of why I was kidnapped in the first place, because it's important. It's related to why I was kidnapped. So we were responding to an incident where I was hit and incapacitated by one of the Clemens brothers. The name escapes me which one it is, because it's hard to tell which one is which. And I do apologize, but I'm doing my best. But he was in a beige, just like my vest, that kind of color, a beige Schlagen GT 2-door sports car.
Okay.
This is a Schlachter. We had apprehended him after Ida 51 and Echo 1 opened fire after he had incapacitated myself and Sunshine Violet. We were then given medical treatment. I was on my way to pillbox to receive medical treatment for my injury. I had requested over the net from Echo 1 and Ida 51 if they wanted me to take due diligence and take pictures of the car, because the car was still present at the scene as it was being left. And so I was doing my due diligence and making sure that pictures were being taken of the inside of the car and the plate, etc. While I was doing that, another car, a white in color with red stripes, Pfizer neon, came up and parked their car. I asked, "Are they okay? Do they need my assistance?" In which case they said no, and I asked that they would move their car because it is blocking the other lane of traffic. They feigned interest and said that they were going to. However, one individual dressed in clothing who matched near enough to a description of a Clement's brother pulled out a gun, a machine pistol of some, or an MP of some variety. It was definitely a class 2. And he told me to put my hands up. And the occupant in the car, who later was revealed to be Padisha Shad, was also in the car. As I was in absolutely no way to do anything. My hands went up. I pressed my panic button. And essentially that is where the start of this whole situation came into. I was put in the boot of their Pfizer Neon. Padisha was named by one of the Clements brothers directly. And I was put in the back of a boot. And my tracker and radio were taken from me.
Where'd they take you to?
The eventual stop was at a. Hang on, let me just remind myself. I know where it is on a map, but I'm not sure what it's called. Of course, I'm in a building, so I can't actually see it. But it was to a waste processing plant.
If you flex your caps lock muscle, you can see the whole map when you're inside a building.
You are a lifesaver.
I learned that the other day. It helps so much.
It just as an aside, by the way, I was so
How
very
do you
annoyed,
not know this?
I didn't know it until I actually read the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Don't know how to
so
follow
they
directions. So
took
they
you
took you to.
Humane Labs and Research on the map.
Okay, they took you to Humane Labs. Okay.
Okay.
On the way, they pulled over multiple times to address my head wound because I was still bleeding at the time. I had not been to the pillbox as I was attempting to move there. But of course, coming back to the due diligence part of, I wanted to get the evidence in case it was needed later. Multiple times they pulled over. They addressed my head wound and then put me back in. On the first occasion,
what did they do to address your head wound?
They just put tape over it, as in like gauze and etc. Like basic medical, just to make sure that I wasn't going to bleed to death.
Basic medical shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. On the first incident when they pulled me over to treat my head wound, a member of the city by Morgan Porter pulled up. I had no idea why, but it soon became clear that they were collaborating and cooperating.
So she was aiding.
Aiding. Well, she already handed herself in. It's kind of hilarious. I'll explain that.
Wait, yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see any jail record of her.
Well, she was jailed. I'll read out her charges at the end. I know exactly when she was jailed.
Yeah, I got that.
So she stuck her beanie in my mouth in an attempt to gag me. Well, it kind of worked because I couldn't speak until the end. But it was without a doubt. They referenced her name multiple times. I could hear it in the car. She called Steele directly to initiate a hostage negotiation for the release of what's his name, Babu, and the Clements brothers that we had just arrested at that time. They keep calling him something else. I'm not sure what his other name is, but it's
Polito.
Polito. There you go. Why did they call him Polito?
I don't know, dude. I don't know the
Yeah,
backstory
no
behind it, but I know
clue.
that people call him
So
Polito.
Morgan
it
Porter
was-
calls Steele, says, "Let's negotiate for Mr. O'Brien for his, safe release. We would like Polito and Mr. Clemens released from prison."
Yes.
And then what happened?
The threat was made on my life if they did not hand him over under their exact terms. That I would be. They made no mistaken claim. They claimed multiple times that I would, quote, I would have a bullet in my head and I would be dead. And that threat was made by the Clemens brother that had kidnapped me.
Okay.
So this negotiation continued back and forth. The resulting demands, I think the end demands that were met were the two of them were to be released. They were released. All other active duty was to be sat in Bolingbroke. Steele was to come alone, and he was to not have them, quote unquote, set up. Padisha Shad made claims that if they even tried anything, that I would have a musket ball in the back of my head. He was sitting on top of a hill on Overwatch. There was other accomplices as well. They were making claims of, we'll have accomplices trail you and make sure that you're doing it right. Making threats that if anything were to be out of order, that I would be dead. And we were met by Steele himself and only himself, with Polito and the arrested Clemens brother. The handover happened as such. They were to walk uncuffed to the other side. I was then left cuffed and then walked over to the opposite side. And Steele untied me and then brought me to the pillbox. Now, that's the portion of the kidnapping itself. What happened afterwards was Steele delegated me to attempt to get Morgan Porter to hand herself in, because she had said on Twitter, I guess that's a no to me handing myself in. So I called her.
That's a no to handing herself. Why would she not?
Because
why would there be a no?
she sorry, go ahead.
What do you mean? Why was it a no to her handing herself in? Like, I don't understand.
Because she had attempted to contact Steele again. He was treating me at the time, and his sole focus was on my safety, so he buttoned her. By buttoned her, I mean press the big red button as firmly as possible.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Explain that to me like I wasn't listening.
He ignored the calls from Morgan Porter. Tell me if I'm wrong. He ignored the calls from Morgan Porter to deal with Atlas's, injuries.
He then gave me her number to attempt to request her to hand herself in. He delegated me to do it. The call lasted about 1 minute and 30 seconds, in which time she basically said only Steele can contact me directly. And when you get enough brain cells, I'm quoting here, when you get enough brain cells, then we'll talk. But only Steele can talk to me. It's just like, that's essentially all the useful information I got out of that situation.
So she said only Steele can talk to her?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just getting the what's it called? The charge. Where is this? Ooh,
I've seen it. It's like PC 31,
31,
PC 32,
PC 32,
PC 69, and one more. It's fine.
PC
Okay,
2
so how did she
something
come
up.
to be in custody? So if she wouldn't talk to you, did she eventually talk to Steele and turn herself in?
Yes.
What did they say? Did you hear that conversation?
The conversation went as such. She was made aware of the charges that would have been placed against her if she turned herself in. She then she wanted to negotiate reduced time for handing herself in. He asked me if I were to drop the charge of it was the accessory after the fact charge that she would turn herself in. Of course, that actually what transpired was she actually got one more charge added to her. So, that at that point I had not an interest in the situation because I was dealing with issues within the city at the time. I had gone on +1 with Tango 15 Tim Machiavelli.
Okay, what were her initial charges supposed to be?
PC 31 aiding and abetting, PC 32 accessory after the fact, and battery.
Okay, so she got all of those.
One more, yeah. I don't even know what the extra one was. It's the piece of PC 69, was it? That was the extra one.
That would be threatening if it was.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
Yeah, she threatened me. Yeah, because she had she basically said, if you don't shut up, I'll put a bullet in you instead.
Okay.
Ida 51 can also corroborate the story as the negotiation happened. She was there at the time. We were at the MRPD parking lot out front when the negotiation took place over the phone.
For her to turn herself in?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and then she showed up and turned herself in, and
yes, and I was away at that time. I had already left the MRPD at the time. They had collected her essentially. So I wouldn't be able to give any more information past that in the interrogation or such as that information.
Nobody's just been jailed. What?
Fucking hell. It's daily. Is like quotas I wonder if Padisha and his gang have daily quotas for how many times they're gonna get sent to jail.
They don't care.
Yeah.
You believe there are any other charges that should have been pressed against her for her involvement in your kidnapping?
Personally, no. The initial charges that I wanted to press were the charge of aiding and abetting, accessory after the fact, and battery.
Was Padesha ever charged with it?
As far as I'm aware, no.
Okay. I believe that's all the questions I had.
Miss Monet, do you have anything else for me? Or?
No, that's yeah.